I said I'm actually going to take the mic because halfway through John's presentation it sounded like Star Wars had kicked off outside. I was expecting a couple of stormtroopers to come in. So we are competing with, as you can hear the noise in the background. So my name is Kevin MacSweeney and I work for a Dublin-based fund called Broadlake. So I'm here this morning to talk to you about private equity. So the question, why explore private equity? So the first question on the floor is, how many companies are in the room today? I can see banks, I can see Enterprise Ireland. Got a couple of companies, great. Okay, keep your hands up. Great. So, how ambitious on a scale of 1 to 10 you guys? A scale of 1 to 10. 7. 10. That's good. Have you discussed funding opportunities with your banks? Private equity? Yeah, okay, that's good. That's 50%, that's 1 from 2. So why explore private equity? Private equity is an alternative source of funding that invests in your business and joins you as a shareholder and becomes a business partner. That's the difference between taking on bank debt and actually taking on a business partner. Interests have to be aligned as a stakeholder in the business. So when is a good time for a private equity investor, or for you to engage with a private equity investor? So again, back to that question of ambition. It's all down to ambition. How ambitious are you? How ambitious is your team? But also, as a follow-on to that, is what opportunities do you see? So John mentioned earlier about the raft of funding. Cash is the commodity in the market at the moment. What you're looking for is a partner that will actually add value to your business. So when is a good time? Are you seeing more opportunities in export markets? Two sides, new products into existing customers, or is there actual opportunities for acquisitions to buy a business doing something similar or something different or something complementary to your business? And when it's important, because timing is key. If you don't do it when you see these opportunities, and if you're not ready to seize these opportunities, then it can actually be quite dangerous. And the reason I use the word dangerous is it can be a defensive move. You could have a competitor who's, probably your size or maybe even a bit smaller or slightly larger, but is geared up to make acquisitions and actually to take risks. And often, the lack of a partner or someone with the same alignment or the same growth ambition as you can help you and take you along that journey. So it's about seizing the opportunity, but being ready to seize that opportunity. So why private equity? Why would you take on an investment partner, another shareholder? Well, if you look at the growth rates, I'm just using general growth rates. So if you look at the yellow line represents a typical company reinvesting profits. So just the profit at the end of the year, reinvesting in that for growth. Typical, just taking round numbers, 5% growth, and that's fine. Often that can be down to market. 5% growth in certain markets is good growth. I use 10%. 10% with reinvesting profits and taking on some bank debt. Bank debt won't add any value. Bank debt will just give you extra cash, and it's good to kick on in new markets, to invest in new products and new sales channels. 20%, I use that for private equity. Reinvesting profits along with private equity. Private equity adds additionality. It's not just about taking on debt and reporting back to the bank. A private equity partner is also a stakeholder and wants to see the company grow. So if you look at that and you see the difference between your 10% and your 20% over 10 years, so you're essentially talking about trebling your business with private equity, and that's what private equity strives for at a minimum level and with you. 10% with bank and debt. That's 1.5 times your business. Big difference, but again, it does come down to the opportunity in your market and where you see those opportunities. Because often, with general bank debt versus private equity, the the market might only be growing by 5 to 10%. So you might grow with that or slightly outgrow your market. Where it becomes very applicable is if you're into a new market where you see opportunities for acquisitions of companies that are doing something slightly different, or a competitor of yours in a market where you might not have had the funds to fund that growth before. But where the private equity partner gets involved is to help you with that growth strategy, in particular acquisitions. So a couple of case studies. So at Broadlake, we invest 2 to 10 million in established, ambitious companies that seize opportunities. One of these examples, 2468, a highly unsexy business. Water coolers, coffee, and hygiene, bathroom products. So 2468 was founded in 2003 by Donald and Gary out in Dunboyne. Started off as a water cooler business, servicing water coolers, supplying water coolers into offices. So we got involved with Donald in 2005 and helped him grow the business. We sat down and we said, Donald, where are the opportunities? Donald was saying the UK. We went into the UK, made a few acquisitions in the early days. The business at that stage was growing quite well in Ireland, had an economic tailwind. But there's been a massive shift. So from a business that was 80% Ireland is now 85% UK. 8,000 customers, over 100 employees, and a phenomenal success story from an acquisition point of view. 2468 has bought over 12 businesses. 80% of them are in the UK, into new markets. Massive thing for 2468. When you're a water cooler business, you need to supply more. So we bought a coffee business of Nestle back in 2012. Good timing, I suppose. But again, it was opportunistic. And it was how Donald went about that with us. Donald hadn't made an acquisition of that size, but again, it transformed the business. But most importantly, it diversified the business. This was a water cooler business that Donald owned. So 2468, phenomenal success story, and continues to acquire. So Donald sets himself a goal, because when you think of a water cooler business or a coffee and office supplies business, that market's only growing by 5%, but the churn is even bigger. The churn is 10%. So you need to grow by 15% to stay at market. So acquisitions in 2468 is key, but you need the right partner that has made acquisitions previously to help you through that process. Vita Librata. There's no females in the room, so I'm not going to ask them to know who Vita Librata are. Vita Librata is a skincare brand. So self-tan skincare brand, organic brand. Business founded in 2004 by, as John mentioned earlier, there's a serious lack of female entrepreneurs. Alison Hogg, up in Belfast, back in 2004, started from a shed out in Ballyclare, and it sounds like a very sexy brand, but the office was absolutely the opposite. Vita Librata, when we got involved, we invested in Vita Librata in 2012. It had become a phenomenal journey, a massive contract with Boots off their own bat. That is a phenomenal achievement in that market, to deal with Boots and to be able to fund that. Vita Librata was in 5 markets, it's now in 25 markets. 50% of the business, which was previously, it was 90% of the business was UK and Ireland. 50% of that business is now outside of the UK and Ireland, which is a phenomenal story. 3 times employees, and turnover has grown by 5 times, 5-fold. A lot of that is down to the US market. Vita Librata is slightly different in the fact that Vita probably won't make any acquisitions. What it needs to reinvest in is marketing and new product development. Specifically in the US, when you're dealing with difficult to market through Sephora, which is your traditional retail channel, but also online. But moreover, QVC, very, very interesting model, but how you deal with them, and especially if you're offering them more NPD, new product development is key. Last example would be Merlin, premium brand for shower enclosures based in Kilkenny, set up in 2000 by a 52-year-old man, Michael Hoyne, saw an opportunity in the space for high-end shower enclosures. Exponential growth over the last 3 years has grown by 30% year on year. A lot of that has been down to new products, investment in new products and supply chain. So where are we in on the journey with Merlin? We only got involved with Merlin last year. We've already looked at one acquisition in a strategic market in Germany, and we will continue to look and evaluate opportunities. But again, it's opportunistic. Michael is not under pressure to make an acquisition. It's as something comes along, there's the money there, there's the expertise there to do that. That won't distract you from the day-to-day of the business, and that's key. That's key to have a partner that can do that. Because if you distract yourself from your day-to-day, that 30% year-on-year growth, that can become 15. If FX isn't going your way in the UK market, that can squeeze it even more. There's a lot of variables. So it's important to have a partner who understands your business, one, understands your growth strategy, whether it be through acquisition, new product development, or new markets, or a combination of one or two, or even three. So, who is private equity for? It might not be for everyone. In fact, it isn't for everyone. Is it for you? That's the question you need to ask yourself. How big is your opportunity? How established are you? Because the more established you become, the more opportunities you see, specifically in new markets. You might dip into a market in the US, and you actually might be supplying whether a product or a service to someone who sees the benefit of your service and kind of goes, well, what about this service? What about that service? Could you provide that to me? Or do you have this product? Could you supply me with that product? It's really important to have a partner who's done that with other businesses. It doesn't have to be in your sector. In fact, it's even better. Outside perspective. Very, very important. That last question. Is it right for you? Private equity. It's actually been a bad word over the last few years. There's been terms used which boil my blood, especially being a family fund. Private equity being vulture capitalists. Venture capitalists in for the short term, in for a quick buck. Never the case. This is a journey. I mean, we've been involved in 2468 Group for over 10 years, purely because we don't have a closed-end fund. We don't need to get the money back. That's not the problem. As John mentioned earlier, there is a raft of cash out there, but it's actually, cash is the commodity. It's the value add. If you are considering private equity, make sure you're considering outside the cash. Cash is there. If your business is good enough, the ambition is there, the opportunity is there, you will get cash. It's the additionality. That's key. Take for example, one of the biggest stigmas around private equity is control and ownership. It's Michael Hoyne's business, which is the Merlin business, was a family business. And we joke, it was like almost setting an extra place setting at the family table, which was the board meeting, to having Sunday dinner. Now, the lamb was lovely, but, you know, the business is growing. That's key. It's actually that giving away of control, or that thought of giving away control. It's not. At no stage will we ever want to own your business or run your business. That's not our model. So the taboos of giving away the family silverware, as long as you're bringing on a partner who is aligned and can bring you along that journey, help you along that journey, you're almost there. That should make the decision for you. Main thing, call to action, would be if you've got your toolbox, and when I say toolbox, all of your options, all your tools for growth, so debt, alternative finance, maybe some mezz, maybe some invoice discounting. It's really important that you take that tool of private equity, and even venture capital, whatever stage you're at, put that into your toolbox and explore it, because it could be to your detriment. You could find a competitor or someone in your space is already forward-looking and looking to do that, and could leapfrog you. So it's dangerous not to consider it. So I would leave it at that. I mean, Broadlake, what we do is we're not venture capital, we're not in the early stage of investing, we're in the later stage. We're looking for established businesses. We invest 2 to 10 million in these businesses, and that's our additionality, value add for acquisitions into new markets and new product development. So, thank you for your time. Any questions?